Okay. I wasn't gonna go live because, I don't know, I was feeling quite overwhelmed still from this long trip I just did, and my hair is naughty, even though I just washed it. That's always nice. And yeah, I guess everybody saw me moving my live again. So we'll just wait a little bit because I kind of am surprising people. But I'm really struggling still with how this live works. I can't seem to send messages so easy for people waiting. Like I just try to do it now, for example. And yeah, so I'm sorry. I'm struggling to get to see the messages of people that are waiting for my lives. I was told that I actually do have people that are waiting, but I don't know how to respond to the comments. So there's 2 people here. I wasn't gonna do a live. I was feeling pretty overwhelmed or even burnt out from the last trip I did. I did this road trip to Alberta to see my brother and his wife that moved out there recently. And yeah. Hi everybody, who's the 2 that's here? I'm guessing one is probably Kale, and yeah, not sure who the other is. And again, so I'm still struggling, trying to figure out how the live works with YouTube. I put it up on my, hello. Wow, you guys must be kind of frustrated with me. I set a time and then I move it a few hours and I move it a few more hours. Yes, anyway, I have to tell you because the last time we did a live, you told me about Ren, and I've been obsessed with him since. I've been listening to him all the time and subjecting all my family members to him as well, and I just think he's fantastic. I see a lot of myself in him in the way that he writes and that the channeling that he's doing, and yeah, so I support him greatly, and I think that he is someone who has a power to wake up a lot of people with his music. Particularly what I find so fascinating about him is, hello Daniel. Thanks for your patience with me. I was just talking about Ren because the Bourgeois Beatnik told me about him last live I did. So yeah, I find it very fascinating how much he is able to reach people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s and remind them even give them an appreciation for rap and things like that, and just waiting for an artist like this all this time. Yeah, he's an original soul and he's very powerful. I know. I was in Calgary when he was there with his therapy, and I looked up to see how far his doctor is from me too, and it was only like 20 minutes. And I'm like, well, if we meet each other, we meet each other. But I've supported him. I've donated to his recovery. And yeah, so thank you again, Bourgeois Beatnik, for telling me about Ren. I'm now obsessed with him and can't stop listening to him. And the only other artist I've ever seen anything like that with, or ever felt anything like that with, is Jewel, where I just like every single song, and I see, where she's channeling and where she's going and how she's communicating with people. And yes, it's incredible. Hello, Mario from Argentina. Yes, I do see why people are compelled to share him. And so I'm guessing you guys are probably frustrated with me and my lives and saying I'm going to do it at this time of day, and then I keep pushing it and pushing it. I don't know. I get shy. I get a little bit like, oh, I gotta be on the spot, and just the pressure a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I look amazing. Thank you. I don't have any makeup on, and the light's not the best. And my hair is so white, and my face is so tanned. Maybe something of Children of the Corn, I don't know. But not that I've seen that show. I can't watch horrors at all. I just too much of an empath to watch things like that. So yeah, I went to Calgary recently. I did a road trip with my mom and our 2 dogs, Blossom and Peaches, and to see my brother. He really wants me to move out there, and I was like, I have to see, it's hard to just kind of pick up and go. And besides, he's there during the best time of the, one of the best times of the year. So, I want to wait to see what the whole year, what it's like for him there, and then we'll kind of gauge, because we know that the winters are not so great and everything, but there are some things I did notice. I liked all the really good-looking tall cowboys. I like that a lot of them were awake and very anti-Trudeau out there, which is not so easy to find here in BC. And everybody is very friendly. I liked also he has this massive lake. Like, there's a lot of places to swim, and I love to swim. I'm a fish. I will just go in the water anywhere I can. I don't even care if it's cold, because that cold dipping's really good for you. However, I ended up getting swimmer's ear, which is this sexy cotton thing in my ear is all about, which I used to make fun of Mom all the time for having these cotton things in her ear, and now I feel like I'm becoming her, like osmosis. So, yeah. I'm recovering from that, and I'm going to look into something I can have to put also in my ears to swim, because I don't want this to stop me going in the water, because apparently you're not supposed to get your ear wet for 6 weeks when you have swimmer's ear, which is super painful. And driving in all different sorts of mountain altitudes is even more painful on swimmer's ear. So yes. Yeah, Alberta's cool. Not as green as BC. It's hard also the air to breathe just by living on the coast. I guess I'm spoiled like that. Though my brother has this nice complex that he's living in, townhouse community. It smelt a little bit too much like a 15-minute city for me, which I'm definitely not for. So just like you needed your ID for everything to permission for all these things, show your face, and who are you? Are you a member of the town? Can you prove it? What's your address? Are you a good Samaritan, and stuff like that. So that's a little bit unnerving and a hesitation for me considering moving out there. However, I did see a lot of great farms out there, and I do like how it's so much more affordable than BC as well. Just an example, to buy a house and property is about maybe 300K. Here in Canada, in BC, it's like 2 million. Yeah, it's just crazy. And yeah, so I don't know. I've also heard theories that, again, I gotta be careful with what I say because of the censorship Nazis. What was I saying now? Hello, Doug 209. So yeah, I was talking about just some of my concerns about there. That I heard that they're wanting us to leave the coast. They're making it more expensive on the coast. Hello, Daniel. You bought just bought 20 acres in the desert to build off-grid and self-sufficient. That's awesome. Which desert? I know BC has Osoyoos. That's our only desert. We have the mountains, the ocean, the rainforest, and the desert all in driving distance. And yes, so anyway, I was saying that I heard that they're purposely trying to make the coast expensive. Like gas, for example, the difference is gas here is like $2 now a liter, a little over $2 a liter. And in Alberta, oh, you're in Arizona, I love that. There, I've been there 3 times. That's where I did my Project Camelot interview, and where I met the Hopi people, and did a couple documentaries out there. Hope for Humanity, Quantum Communication. Spent some time with Pamela Ike, David Icke's ex-wife. At the Sacred White Buffalo. And yeah, a bunch of cool things, but did not see the Grand Canyon, which is something I really wanted to do. But yeah, so what was I saying? I was talking about them trying to get us off the coast. So gas in Alberta is like $1.47 or for 45, something pretty reasonable. And so just all these things where they're just making it so expensive that people just go inland, and then it's easier to control them with 15-minute cities. But you know what? I don't really see this one flying. I think what really they're doing is just, how ridiculous can we make it and bad before they actually react and say, hey, wait a second. No, this is where I draw the line. And I just find, like, they start telling people they can't drive and stuff like that to go see their family or do road trips or camping or whatever. It's less likely for people to comply so easy. So I don't know if I'm the only one that's seeing that. Maybe it's just, are you guys seeing that as well or picking that up? Oh, you bought land right in, not sure if I can pronounce this. Kochai's Stronghold? Clown World Timeline. Yeah, exactly. Very inverted, right? So if you want to make sense of this world, you have to stand on your head. Yeah, they want people isolated and dependent, which is why I'm also very much against Teslas and any kind of electric cars, because first of all, it's not at all good for the environment, and it's brutal, the kind of labor that children are doing for it. And hi, Scott Robinson. And yeah, it's like a giant microwave, and they can shut off that car anytime they want, and if they don't want you going or leaving town. So I am sticking with gas, but at the same time, gas is ridiculous, because there are cars that run on H2O and things like that as well, I've seen, but they don't really allow people to do that for very long. They end up being killed mysteriously. Are you planning on building the first fully vacuum isolated house? What do you mean by that, Daniel? Yeah, of course they have. The leaders have gone mad. They've never had our best intentions in mind. I think that's very apparent. And yeah, I don't understand why people can't see it, because it's so obvious. And then when I just like, give me an example of someone throughout history, just one person who actually cared about the people, a leader, right? That didn't exploit them and basically screw them over. So yeah, it just forces us to be more self-sufficient and to just think on our own feet and step away from this crumbling system, right? It's falling apart, and built on a faulty foundation, it has to fall. I do believe we are here to witness it falling, even to help it fall, and then create something new and better. But we have to be careful with what we're doing, because it's so easy to think we're doing something new when really we're not. It's just, for example, a different leader. Someone maybe who has the best intentions and is a very good person, but you're not going to get anywhere unless you sell out the people, or it's just easy to be blackmailed and corrupted, and so we can't continue going that way, is my point. So we have to think even more out of the box. Yeah. Okay. So I went on a tangent. I was trying to talk about my Alberta trip and comparing the differences of with Alberta and where I live in Vancouver area-ish. Not quite. A little outside the city. I'm not a city girl at all. I don't know why people are surprised when they meet me and they think I am, or I'm going to be like a prissy girl. I am so not. I am such a tomboy, super uncouth. Yes. I have 3 brothers. I have to remind people of that, so I'm a little bit of a, let's just say, rough around the edges. And very much like, I don't really change for anyone. I'm aware that there's a lot of expectations versus reality. But I always kind of find it funny when people meet me and they have their ideas about me versus how I actually am. Okay, back to what Daniel's saying about his fully vacuum insulated house. Dual-walled vacuum insulated, heat can't transfer through a vacuum. Best insulation on the planet, cheaper, faster, less materials, less labor, and 70% more efficient. Ooh, interesting. Where'd you get this idea? Is there something online about it, or is this just your own idea? I mean, Arizona's pretty freaking hot. However, I do remember when I was there it was snowing, so yeah, it can also be quite cold as well. So yeah, not sure about Alberta. Give it a bit more time. I'll see. I have to probably be able to fly out next because I won't be able to do any more road trips as I'm going to be starting work soon. And I mean, of course I'm glad to work, but sad it's like right during the very beginning of summer. Because yeah, we don't get very much summer here. And I want to swim as much as I can, despite having the swimmer's ear. Your brain. Well, that's very cool. You should make like a website or what am I thinking of? Kind of like a business plan module to teach others and spread this idea as much as you can. So anyway, let's see here. Oh wow, there's 9 people here now. Okay. What was I saying? People are distracting me. Don't say stuff like this. I'll have to block some of these comments. So, not that I like censoring at all. From Alberta, I drove to my friend's place in Princeton. She has like sort of like a Kin's Domain Anastasia idea, little farm with some trailers on it. And yeah, it was really beautiful. She's growing all kinds of flower trees. God, I'm distracted. Please, I can't take this person. I have to kind of figure out what to do with them. Yeah, just a sec. They're talking about their penis size, and I'm trying to read comments to communicate with you guys and have to deal with this these messages as well. Okay, I'm gonna put this, wait, user in timeout. I've never had to do anything like this before. I don't know what timeout is. It's like a child thing. Okay, yeah, so it was really cool. She has all these amazing fruit trees and stuff like that, and they put in a greenhouse, and I helped them with her sister did this not the best thought out potato planting, and they didn't have enough dirt, so they got this huge truck full of dirt, and I helped. I don't know what happened. I just got like super in the zone and emptied a whole like truck of dirt. Let me see, what would it be? Maybe 2 tons? In like within a half hour. Just me and one other guy. I like shoveled and filled the buckets, and he carried it off. So yeah, that was that was pretty fun. And yeah, what else? She's this amazing creek as well. That's gold water. They probably have gold in it, so I think they're gonna start doing some gold panning and stuff like that. And just really trying her best to live the way Anastasia is talking about, which, you know, is really cool. She's further along the line than me. I really would like to be. I did talk to some founders of the North American Ringing Cedars Foundation. I did do an interview. I'm not sure when that's going to go out, but we did talk about that and where I was with that and things like that. So yeah, I still need to find land off grid and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not sure how it will come about, but I know it will. That's so you're not into social media, but you plan to spread and share plans when all done. Open source everything. So I'm curious how you're planning on doing that, Danielle, because I do think I use social media just as a tool, just to reach as many people as I can. And yeah, I think that is really how we use it, right? And from the very beginning, I never was someone to do selfies or take pictures of my food or anything like that. What the majority was doing, I was always just like trying to use this message to wake up and empower and inspire as many people as I could. 300 seconds. What kind of timeout is 300 seconds? That's so weird. So we stayed there for a day, and it was nice for the dogs. They just loved it to go run around and stuff like that. But because they're so small, we have to watch for eagles and predators everywhere, because it's just in the boondocks in the middle of like nowhere. We can say it's near Princeton, but it's kind of not. But just to kind of give you an idea. And then the next day we were actually going to head back, and we wanted our last day to be not so rushy, because going to from Vancouver-ish to Calgary was, we left at 5 a.m. on Thursday morning, the Thursday before that, and arrived at like 12:30 midnight. So like 12 and a half hours or something. It was pretty intense, and we didn't get much breaks or anything like that. And then also I did the trip to my friends from Calgary to Princeton, which was 9.5 hours. And even though we left pretty early, it still took some time to get out there with just the odd few breaks here and there. And so the last day we're like, you know what, we've rushed so much, we didn't get to see as much as we'd like or stop, so we picked some things in the area that we really wanted to see. Daughter of Lilith said, I thought you weren't going live. I thought I wasn't going to go live too. I know I kept changing it and pushing the hours and stuff like that, and it's just, I was feeling overwhelmed from the trip because I just got back recently and it was pretty intense. I'm just kind of in the middle of the story of what happened, and I was pretty much about to move it to next week, and then one of my friends private messaged me and said, hey, so you're not going live? And I kind of said all the reasons why I don't know if I feel like going live, and they're like, oh, but there's all these comments on there of people waiting, and I was like, crap, I don't know how to see these comments or access them, and I have this other one I'm supposed to go live on my computer, but that doesn't work. And so I did it on my phone, but yeah, instead of, so just like, okay, I'll just do it, I'll just force myself and go live. So that's kind of what I had to do, is just kind of psych myself up, because I don't know, I get shy. Do you believe it? I get shy, and I get overwhelmed, and I feel like kind of a pressure kind of a thing as well, which is always quite irrational, because every time I do talk, it's always nice and easy, and you guys are always wonderful and everything, and I know you guys are always like looking forward to it, and I'm not like the easiest with, you know, doing every week like I would like to. Again, that's expectations versus reality. Stuff comes up. But, okay, David, I don't care if it's just 1 to 2 acres. I'm looking for a creek with fall in it to the hydroelectric. Space of love. Yeah, exactly. It would be really nice to have something like that. And I'm curious how the universe will bring that about for me sometime in the future, however that's to be. Thank you. My tan, it was actually, I burnt in Alberta swimming for several hours when I finally could go in the water. Hence also having swimmer's ear and it being quite painful, and me also making me less keen to want to do a live. Hi, Robert. So anyway, but I never wear sunblock. I absolutely hate sunblock. Sunblock freaks me out. And so, yeah, I burned, and then I have this hack, like tea bags, it's black tea. And actually, but I thought I had the right tea. I was using orange Pico black tea, and it actually made my skin a bit orange, like an Oompa Loompa and Trump, so, or like I rolled around in a bag of Doritos. So, it was funny. And then I don't know, I don't care. I just like the sun, and I don't see it as anything to be afraid of. Just like God, stuff like this doesn't sit right for me. But just, so yeah, I burnt a bit, and then I put the tea bags on, and usually I don't go orange when I put the tea bag on. It works pretty fast. Within a half hour you can turn gold and also get rid of any pain of a burn, but I tend to not feel the pain of a burn. Oh, story time. I just thought of a... should I tell it? Yeah, okay, I'll tell it. I was just always embarrassed myself. When I was working on a cruise ship, back when I was a young tree frog, what was I, 24? Something like that. And they don't let you off the ship for the first couple of months in probation. And when they finally let me off the ship, I think it was in St. Thomas, and it was a cloudy day. And I swam in the water all day, not thinking about the reflection of the sun in the water and how that can amplify the ability to burn. And I burned so bad, I was speaking in tongues. I was going, and they had to put like something like a horse tranquilizer dart on my butt, which put me out for 3 days. So there's a funny, embarrassing, random story regarding Jessica and the sun and sunburned, and just I haven't learned a thing. But anywho, I just don't believe that we can get cancer from the sun. I think that there's more cancer causing ingredients in all sunblock and stuff like that. So yeah, and also we never had skin cancer or anything like that back in the day. It all suddenly just showed up recently. Basically, fear of everything natural. So anywho, that's the story of my tan. And then, so, the last day of our trip, we were going to take our time and not rush and actually see things, and we chose a few things we were going to do. And, oh, Essence Identity, that's what I'm talking about right now. I know, I didn't do a live when I was looking like an orange Dorito, I know. But carrot seed oil and coconut oil is a natural sunscreen. Yeah, not coconut oil though, because it can make you burn faster, but afterwards, sure, it helps. Okay, you guys are writing a lot of comments to me at this time as well, so let me just check to make sure I haven't missed anything. Yay, new Anastasia news. Yes. Aw, thank you. I'm always welcome to Arizona. You'll share your 20 acres, and later I can be your social media girl. Oh God, I'm actually not good at it anymore. I was never good at it. I just share, and that's all. I just compulsive share of whatever inspires me in the moment, but it's not like a calculated business-minded thing at all. That's just not me. I'm too freaking random and spontaneous. And yeah. But I'd love to help, so maybe. I'm in my room, by the way, and it's all green because I love green. And there's my Everest. See, speaking of random, so many random things. Okay. Rainwater catchment, full solar, cool. Okay. Right now you live in a refrigerator truck trailer that you built on off-grid solar, full solar powered. Yeah, my friends that have their Kins domain, they prefer to be in a trailer as well. They don't want property. They're considering the place next to them that has a massive house, but they wouldn't live in the house because it just costs so much to heat and everything. And it's I don't know, trailers are better, even though it's not so fun in the cold because I've been there in the cold. And yeah, the outdoor toilets take a bit getting used to, but that was how it was for our parents and grandparents, right? When they lived on all these farms and stuff like that. Come back to Hamilton and visit me. Yeah, wow, I haven't been to Hamilton in a while. I have been offered to come out to Ontario again, but I don't know how to make that work because I only have a few weeks left before I start my job, and so I can't just travel as much as I'd like now. That big Alberta trip that was only supposed to be 6 days and turned out to be 8. You pretend to be spiritual, but you love New York City. I mean, cities are good in doses and moderation. Whenever I go to them, I'm always get kind of fascinated by them, like I'm an alien and I'm seeing it for the first time. And yeah, and there's only so much I can take before I'm just like, ugh, no, get me out of here. It's too noisy and hectic and busy, and I don't know how people can live like this. But each to their own. I'm a country girl. But yeah, that's like the things that they endured, right? Like not also having like outdoor toilets and walking to school, not having a bus, and just going for miles and not, I don't know, just enduring. And just thought, I think it's pretty incredible. The previous generations are pretty damn strong. And like my mom is just like this fiery, the amount of strength this woman has, and just old knowledge, and just I always think, man, how do I preserve this? This is just incredible. And like, I can never be as strong as her, because I didn't grow up on actual farm like she did and wake up every morning for the cows. She's like, if you didn't wake up, the cows would come to the door because they expected to be milked at a certain time, and they knew you weren't there to milk them, and their breasts were hurting, so they'll come to you. And so there was just no excuse to sleep in or anything like that. We just are so lazy. So I'm just very fascinated by that generation. And yeah, I think it gives them this endurance and this ability to live longer, just this kind of energy they got from working the land and stuff like that. Yeah, see, that's clever to do with a trailer. Just 10K full solar, and air conditioning and heat and all the amenities, and no bills. Makes sense, right? That's why a lot of people want to get out into the grid, off the grid. I can't talk. Yeah, my mom's a badass too. Maybe daughters of Lilith, your mom and my mom probably get along pretty well. That's cool. Okay, I don't know. I don't think you guys can see the comments of other people here, can you? So I was told one time you can't, so I was just reading them out loud if I don't trip over my tongue or have a wonderful dyslexic moment. But the Essence Identity is saying, today I found ladybug larvae and 7 bugs before sundown, captured them safely and added them into the garden. I think that's good. I don't think they'll eat your plants or anything like that. You guys should see my garden. Last time I did a video live and I shared the garden, and I mean, it looked pretty good then, but now it's exploding. It is like a jungle there. I'll have to do another outdoor video. It's kind of colder today, so I'm being a wuss and hiding inside. I should go on tour. I don't know, like I'd need help with that. I need like a manager or something to organize me, otherwise it's like herding a cat. You can see the whole chat. Oh, you can see the whole chat. Okay, so you can see when I trip over things. So you did also see these other comments of this person I had to give a timeout to. Oh, that's even more embarrassing. I'm turning red. Okay, her face is doing an impression of a tomato, and I'm not sunburned anymore. Someone said they couldn't see the chat. Okay. Before I go into this question about UFOs, I'm going to try to finish my story about Alberta and just why I'm a bit bagged now that I'm back, and why I kept delaying my live. Because, yeah, you just couldn't anticipate or know what was going to happen. So, told you that we were not wanting to rush, and we were just wanting to have one day where we just kind of drive and go check out certain things. So there was Princeton, there was about a 2.5-hour drive to Kelowna, where there is this kangaroo farm. And I've been to Australia now thrice, and Mom hasn't, and she's always wanted to go. And so I thought, I don't know when she would be able to go, so I think that this will be the next best thing. And it'd be really cool to check out this kangaroo farm. And I don't take selfies, but I did a lot of shameless selfies. Some with filters and some without, and those are on my Facebook if you're curious about that. But anyway, and then we also wanted to check out Manning Park, which was like another 3.5 hours, but that would be on the way back, whereas Kelowna is going more towards Alberta. So it's a little bit out of the way, but I just thought, oh, we just got to do it. And I've always wanted to see Kelowna as well. And it is a really pretty town. Lots of nature, lots of things to do. And of course, I checked out the guys in the area too. I'm single, come on. Just wanted to see. A lot of farmers out there too. And so, yeah, so what did I... The kangaroo farm was great. There's wallabies as well. There's like white albino ones with pink eyes. And there was a porcupine named Priscilla who had these very derpy eyes and just was a sweet thing. You could pet her and everything. And there was a lot of capybaras there as well. And those are the main interesting animals, aside from the kangaroos, that I can think of in this moment. But it was very hot for Mum, so Mum struggled, so she couldn't take as many pictures. But they did also let us take our dogs too, which I liked. But we had to hold them. And the dogs are pretty good for the most part. They didn't react or get jealous or anything to us petting these cool exotic creatures. And right as soon as like we're stuck in a lot of traffic on the way back, and right as soon as we get out of town, on my car, I'm the one driving back because my mom wanted to drive all the way there and wouldn't let me drive at all, but on the way back I got to drive and I love it. I don't know why I took so long to drive. I'm older now, and I waited a very long time to drive, and I think that's because of when I was 16, my sister passed away because her friend was drinking and driving, and so it made me very nervous to drive, and didn't want to hurt anybody, or hurt myself, or I don't know, just get in an accident at all ever. And also the dyslexia too. I was nervous about just constantly confusing right and left, and particularly when you're reversing and stuff like that. But I regret that so much because I love driving and I'm actually very good at it, and this was not an easy drive. There are a lot of like sheer drops and crazy curves, and animals constantly crossing. There was like caution, bear, deer, steer, moose, elk, ram, all these things. So you have to constantly be vigilant, plus falling rocks, and lots of crosses on the side of the road of people not being able to get home. And yeah, so that was another tangent. But anyway, on the way back, just coming out out of the traffic jams and just a little bit out of the city, on my car shows a red exclamation mark in a circle in red and battery. And I tell my mom, and we just get a bit nervous because we realize we don't have much time before the car is going to die. And I tried to, I just went to the first house I could find, and I asked, said, hey, this is kind of a random, strange thing, but our car is about to die, and we're from out of town. We're from the Vancouver area. They're like, oh, what part? And so I kind of talked a bit more and realized that we're actually from the same town, and that they actually know my brother Forrest. And that was just super random, but they couldn't help me, and so they said, oh, you just drove past an auto fixing place. Like, yes, that's the word, that's what they're called. And so I drove quickly to them, and unfortunately all the mechanics had left for the day, just by like a few minutes, and so they told me to drive to the Canadian Tire. That's just down the road. Everything was 6 minutes away, which is very weird. And while I'm going on to oncoming traffic, the car dies. And we have to quickly put it in neutral and push it out of traffic and back into the driveway of the car shop. And no one really helps us. None of the mechanics do or anything like that. And it's uphill and it's not easy, and so we somehow get it a little bit out of traffic. We inform all the other traffic of what's happening, and we have no choice but to call a tow truck. I've never experienced anything like this before, and so tow truck comes, and we realize that, you know, nobody can really help us until tomorrow. Regardless, we are going to have to spend the night in Kelowna. And I find a motel 6 minutes away that is pet friendly, because I have the 2 dogs with me. And yeah, I put out an SOS on Facebook, and some people who see my Project Camelot interview were, I guess, just we have talked a few times online, because I talk to everybody as best I can. They were just, I guess, so grateful to me and what I've shared, and just being there for them energetically, spiritually, and they just were looking for an opportunity to like help in whatever way they can. They're like, your car died in my hometown. I have a lot of connections with mechanics, so I'm gonna help you get, you know, sorted out, because most of the mechanics out there, unfortunately, are very, very expensive. Like Canadian Tire, they don't do the best job, and take a girl to the cleaners, because they assume they don't know anything about cars and stuff like that, and they're all busy, booked in advance. And no, I did not have not CAA or AA. What was it? We have something called that helps with your cars. I can't remember if it breaks down what it is in this moment, but we do have something like that. But anyway, oh man, such a story. And so basically they looked after us, helped us, got us to a really reasonable mechanic, sent his brother out to help us, who was also a mechanic, assess the situation. Turns out that it was the alternator that died. So I had to get a new battery just to get it to the shop, because we couldn't take it to get to the alternator in the parking lot of Canadian Tire. Couldn't do that, because you'd have to take apart the car quite a bit. It's a Nissan Murano, which is very inconvenient for mechanics to get to the alternator. It's like way down and stuff like that. So the amount of labor that any other mechanic would have charged me would have been a lot. So yeah, the battery jump-started it, and then was able to drive it without an alternator to the shop. And then they worked on it at about, I don't know, 2, but because when we got the new alternator, and found a reasonable priced alternator, which they covered the cost for, which was very sweet. I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, the mechanic was also awake, which I appreciate, and freaking fast, and happened to only be free that day, and booked several weeks in advance after that. And basically we're on the road by 6:30. And I drove all the way back home, but it was very, very slow. I'm just really grateful also that we didn't, the alternator didn't die in the middle of nowhere, where there's just miles and miles before there's civilization, and we have to watch out for all the wildlife, where the speed limit is like 110. And that there's like a lot of areas on this trip where there's no cell service. So I feel very, very lucky and really, really grateful. And yeah, I didn't get home till very, very late, 12:30 again as well. And we were just exhausted after that trip. But that's kind of what happens. It's also why I love Facebook, and I really don't want to lose it. And I have all my soul family on there. And I just love that whenever I'm in a situation or a jam or something's heavy on my mind, that I can just write something there, and someone will be in that area and be able to help me. And this has happened many times while I've traveled the world. And it's just wild to think, because I did this interview a while ago. Actually, I'm getting emotional about it. I'm gonna cry. This is also why I was kind of nervous to do a live today, because of, yeah, but you guys know me, I'm raw. And there's all these messages here that I missed while I was yammering on about my story. Um, Thank you, though. You guys are just so wonderful. You're so sweet. Like, just angels come in all different shapes and forms, right? And these guys, like, when then they sent their brother, and he was pretty rough around the edges, and but an angel, right? Just loves to help, and they're rough around the edges because how life was so rough, hard with them, you know. And it's I hope that I was able to shine a lot of light for him as well, to help him just address some things so he's not so harsh on himself. But I'm gonna read the comments because I'm gonna cry. But thank you. You guys are all awesome. I love all of you guys. You're my soul family. And the fact that you guys wait for me and are patient with me, even when I change my lives all the time, from every few hours to the next day or this time or that time, and I know you guys are all over the world, and sometimes the time I choose works for you, and other times it's like the middle of the night, you stay up for me. Like, that's just wild to think that you guys just care so much for me, even after all this time. You know, just the ups and downs of a family and stuff like that. So Lilith, what do you think about the recent UFO sightings at the Pentagon, having a meeting with Canada about them? I mean, that's been going on for a long time. Disclosure, right? I think I don't know, if they're having meetings or sightings at the Pentagon and meetings with Canada, anything that, like, they're going to talk to our leaders, I just don't trust, because don't trust our leaders. And there's a lot of psyops going on. We know that about Project Bluebeam, with the hologram technology that they have. And I'm still emotional. I'm trying to change my mind and subject, but it's still there. And yeah, so I'm just a bit suspicious about it. I think that they're only going to reveal about UFOs and NETs if it's convenient for them and their agenda, because true ETs care nothing about our leaders and don't want to interact with them. They want to interact with their starseeds who know what they're here for, and to help people remember who they are and what they came here for. Like I like to say, when a seed is buried in darkness and silence, all alone with a bunch of fertilizer dumped on it, that as much as it wants to go home, it realizes that if I can't go home, I must become home, right? So inside of us is the seeds of home that will result in us becoming very strong, going through the darkness, and networking and connecting with other plants, and that are on a similar journey, but also bursting forth towards the sun and the light, and giving our gifts to the world, like trees that give fruit, flowers, leaves, shade, comfort, and beauty unconditionally, regardless of who you are, what you have, and what you believe. And they never once say you owe me for my services, right? So I do see that parallel, this alchemical journey, that everything that exists is trying to show us, you are the same. This is you. This is where you guys are at. This is where, like, it's like a map kind of a thing. And so that's the one I'm more reliant towards. I think is more, I don't know, like, the way they're going about disclosure just doesn't sit right with me. I think you'd feel the same way too, that this is not the way it should be. I think that also the military has confessed several times that they just don't feel that people are ready or able to handle this kind of information, particularly if people are very religious and stuff like that. It could make people kind of go off the edge, and maybe even war and stuff like that. So it's more, the question is, like, if we suddenly just saw them in the sky one day, everybody saw them, what would they do? Right? How would you handle your beliefs of what you think life is and the world is, and all of that, right? I'm still trying to get my mind back and concentrate. Let's see here. I can stay in Terracotta, which is northwest of Toronto by now. Thank you. One day I might take you up on that offer. You can even see the spammy ones. Oh, great. I can't. I hid those ones now. Yeah, the rams just walk on the road. The deer just walk on the road. And thankfully, no deer ran in front of my car. But I was, I was told just don't have my high beams on. Don't blind them. Drive slow. Even if it pisses off the drivers behind me, they can pass when they're ready to pass. But, like, the whole point of just is getting home safe, Near Toronto, there's a 24-hour mechanic, pretty cool, but I've never used one. Well, that's good, but it's always good to know of a good mechanic. CAA, damn it, why can't I think of that the thing that fixes cars for us? What's that company we have? BCAA? Is that it? Oh god, still can't remember. Anyway. Yeah, it is good to pay for a membership, and I will do that. Yeah, it was really sweet that they helped me. Sorry, I'm just going through all the comments. Jack of all trades. More important than many. I agree. I love that when people are like Swiss Army knife people. That's right. You can drive with a battery without an alternator only for so long, and then the car will go kaput. Oh, thanks, guys. Aw, thank you. I love you guys too. Hi, Pine Park Blazer 420. It's a funny name. I'm a blonde. I'm naturally high. Have I seen the New Earth? Are you talking about like a film, or are you talking about the New Earth that we are going to and that we are preparing? A daughter Lilith, because if it's the latter, then the answer is yes. There is a speech from the former Secretary of Defense from Canada. He states that there are different forms of ETs that have interacted with U.S. government is a classic to try and research it. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's been going on for a long time. They've been talking to the leaders and exchanging technology for people to test on them and stuff like that, yes. Yeah, all of our strengths and all soon combine to become unstoppable unity of one. That kind of makes me think of like Power Rangers, and they all like have their abilities, and then they kind of merge together, and they're even more powerful. Wait, the essence of identity. Wait, he was older, like 80s age, so he thought, why not get it out? Was on live CBC. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the disclosure? You want to go to Orion. You probably have already been to Orion. You probably are from, I don't like to say we're from when we remember our starry origins or have memories of these places. It doesn't mean we're necessarily from there, because Earth is like a Harvard University for creators in training, right? So it means that you've studied at other places before coming to Earth. And so most likely Orion and all the other places, Pleiades, Alcyone and Sirius and Arcturus and Andromeda, all those places, are schools that we've studied at before coming to Earth to prepare us. So we remember that, but we come from Source. That's where we come from, and but so we have to kind of, there's so many layers to our memories. It feels, of course, because it's much more pleasant, that it'd be nice to think we're from there, because it's not nice to feel like we're from Earth with how difficult it is. But that's the challenge, right? That's why we have to study at all these other places and prepare to be able to manage being on Earth, while also a lot of those beings that are still on those other worlds aren't here, can't come here, They just aren't, they say, this is their words, brave enough. And we're the brave ones to be here, and they're in awe of us, and just admire and love us and will support us in whatever way they can. But they can't save us. They can't do it for us, because that's just the ultimate insult, right? You just don't learn anything from that. It's just like this sort of irresponsible sort of way, because these are the ramifications of our collective decision that we're living, and the collective nightmare of not being able to understand the darkness and the fear and what it actually is, the mechanics of it. So, I mean, the being saved by our AT family would be like our mother, we messed our room, and we expect our parents to clean our room rather than us doing it, right? So a lot of people here are from Orion and Orion Wars. Yeah, I mean, they remember the Orion Wars. They were a part of it, but again, I wouldn't say they were from there, but they've had lives there. They've had experiences and training there that is very helpful here. Okay, you're talking about the former Secretary of Defense in Canada. The expression of men behind him are like, oh no, it's live CBC interview. He mentioned it obviously without written notion. Well, that's good that he's coming out in that way. And there are so many whistleblowers like that, right? And whenever they try to speak, that's what the CIA coined the term conspiracy theorists as whistleblowers, just to discredit them in whatever way they could. So that's good that he's coming out and saying that, but there's still also a lot of people that, like, it seems like it's raw. It seems like they're just confessing something when also they're backed up and supported by the dark. So gotta also watch out for that too, to see what's actually behind this. Have I seen the healing chambers? Will they roll out? Yes and yes. Pre-world BS, he said, in like early 2000s. I'm not quite following the context of what you're saying, Essence Identity. But, yeah, that was my Alberta trip, and sorry for some people that missed it, because I said I wasn't going to go live. I was going to push it to next week, and then I got other people message me and push me to come on and do the live anyway, regardless, so I did. So thank you for doing that. You know who you are. Trying to get comfortable. What? So, yes. What else? What's going on with everybody? How's everybody doing? It's been about an hour anyway. We can do a short one this time. You let me know. Last time I tried to do that, and then it became like 2.5 hours. Thinking what else that I wanted to discuss with you guys. Usually it's spontaneous. I don't really plan. I don't know if I like this angle of me. I look funny. I will go back to this one. The light's better, I think. Yeah, so do you guys have anything else you want to discuss, or should we cap it at an hour this time? I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Silence. Almost like tumbleweeds rolling across. Hey? Are we good then? Okay. I don't see anything else showing up. It's just a short one this time, which is totally fine. We can do that. You're here anytime. Intentions for good vibes is what matters. May you all stay strong and stand firm against the wiles of the world. Peace and love. Yeah. so many of these like soldiers are stepping forward, and again, like Ren is so amazing for that. Bourgeois Beatnik told me about Ren the last time I did live, and he just said, just hi Ren video, and then I watched it, and then I've been hooked on him since, and I listen to him all the time, and I love all his different, how he does all these different genres, and how he even does like songs from the 50s and 60s, because I really like old music. And yeah, he's not afraid to do any genre, and that's also what I really love about Jewel, and that I like every single one of her songs. She can't write a bad song, and I think that's the same for Ren. Every song's amazing. So I think you guys should all check him out as well. He's a very, very powerful soul, and he will bring people together through his music, because he's speaking to people of all ages, something very deep within them, helping them remember and step out of their amnesia. Okay, being grounded is most important than wondering about ETs. Although I've had my own experience once with my mother wondering about them, I try not to think much about it. Unusual. Going to alien sites and giving into higher dimensions will not ground the soul. Walk barefoot. Well, it's a balance thing, right? Like, too much grounding isn't really a good thing either. Too much left brain, and also too much spiritual and too much head in the clouds and too much Bodhi tea also isn't good, right? I mean, you can't, your left brain has a purpose, your right brain has a purpose. You shouldn't choose one over the other. You know, that's like making yourself into a half-wit. Use all of our mind. Why would we choose one hand over the other? So I just think that everything is really about balance. Like even a tree is grounded, but it because it's so grounded and rooted into the ground and into the dirt and into the darkness and interconnected in the darkness, it's able to go towards the light and have its head in the sky and the clouds and the sun, and able to be so abundant with whatever kind of tree it is, what it gives to the world. So that is, again, like it's showing us grounded and, yeah, watch the sky, connect with the sky, what's going on there, reach for it, and see how high you can go, how strong you can be, right? Hardwood grows in time. It's not something that happens right away. Like you question everything and believe nothing. Yeah, that's a good way to be. I'm kind of like that as well too. I just don't attach to my beliefs. I really don't want to be like so sure about something that I stop growing, because that's death, is stagnation, where it's end all be all. Kids, no need to we're going to do a pop quiz, no need to study or think, because the question to everything is God and Jesus. Okay, that's fine and good and true to a degree, but that's not, you're not growing anymore. There's a stagnation there. There's got to be this awe and wonder and a push to keep expanding what you think you know and challenging what you think you know. I mean, that's the blind spots that I think we need to be very interested in about ourselves. That particularly when other people can see it better than we can. Psychics, like, they're not very good at reading themselves, but they need other psychics to see what they can't see, right? We're all mirrors for each other's blind spots. And it's good because we need other people and we can't do it all on our own, but we do have a duty, I think, to challenge what we think we know, particularly what we are very emotionally attached to as like a comfort and a foundation of truth, that there's more to question there. I mean, like, thou shalt not lie, sure, but a lot of us are lying to ourselves and we don't even know it, but we're so sure we're right that we try to convince others that we're right too. I see that all the time, particularly being a spiritual teacher. That was prevalent in that arena. Yeah, you know me, I always use trees as a metaphor. They are my teachers. That's where I get a lot of wisdom from. enlightenment and spiritual evolution is a never-ending story, and it should be that way. And that's what I also love about that movie as well, is your story is other people's stories. It's speaking to other people in other dimensions and realms and pulling them into it, because that never-ending story is coming to an end because people are forgetting who they are and not believing or imagining things anymore. And so a nothing, the numbness, is devouring their world. So they need someone young, a child who can still imagine and create, co-create with others to make them live again and expand and create new characters and stories and stuff like that. I freaking love that movie. I'm such a 80s nut for like movies like that. Also, the never ending story. The Labyrinth, where David Bowie wears pants so tight you can tell what religion he is. Yeah. I said that quiet. This is my humor. Thank you, Michael, you're new here. This reminds me of apricot and kernels, a huge sensor preventative. I've tried to get my close friends to get this vitamin, which is also in other unpasteurized seeds. Yeah, there's a lot of pasteurized seeds now, so it's tricky to find unpasteurized seeds. Hello, Misty Moon. Thank you for joining. I actually was going to cap out, but because there was a little bit of a lull for a second on what we were going to talk about, and then I got sparked again. My mom and I had a fight about B17 vitamin recently. She said fought and trying to get her. Well, I mean, so you can't, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink, right? I said that's what really sucks, though, because particularly if you know it'll be really good for them and it will help them, but if they don't agree and they're not willing to do it, there's not really much you can do, and that really sucks, because you can watch them maybe suffer or be worse and stuff like that, but it's their choice, So I feel for you. The Essence Identity, that's not easy, and me and my mom fight all the time too. That was also really hard about the trip. Is I love my mother, I do, and we live together and everything, but we are freaking oil and water. We are so different. She's very religious, I'm very spiritual. I'm very much like Dad, and she can't. It's really hard for her to see and experience Dad as a female. She's so used to him as a male, and yeah, it's something we're always talking about and fighting about and stuff like that. So I'm very like, meh, it's okay. And she's like overly cautious, freaking out about this and that. And why don't you take this seriously and stuff like this? So, I mean, I'm an adult now. But yet, like, I don't know. My mother is like, it's just, she's still a mother. And she can't stop being a mother, and maybe it's because of all the family members we've lost, and family's the most important thing to her, and all she's wanted was to have them all close by, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. And then in a lot of ways, she's still very much a child and super stubborn, but I'm super stubborn, so it just makes for, I don't know, people who witness us together, like these people that came to help us with the car in Kelowna, were very amused, particularly because my mother's also super old-fashioned, so anything that is, she says risque, basically I kind of just, what did they say? I'm like, no, nothing, Mom, or I'll just make up something else and stuff like that. They find it very comical anyway with how I deal with my mother. But yeah, and I've seen her suffer a lot, and mainly because she's not comfortable with the spiritual route. She's comfortable more with the religious route, which is sad because there really shouldn't be a separation between the two, but there is. It has to come in their package and with their comfort words. Something that sounds like it's just energy or something. Oh, I don't know if I can trust that. That might be, something from the devil and stuff like this. And then I'm like, live spelled backwards is evil, and lived spelled backwards is devil, right? So, inverted reality. That's what evil actually is the opposite of life, and to live your whole life that way is to worship the devil, if you will. But oh, we argue and argue and argue about this, and I try not to, like, I don't want to challenge it for her. I don't, like, because it's her strength and her foundation, and I get that, but I don't know. I just don't like how much it takes over her mind, and how it's not my mom talking, it's a religious programming talking. Yeah. Not news. Been following me for a decade. Yeah. So yeah, nothing's changed there. So. Well, yeah, of course. Apricot seeds is one way of a natural remedy, but there's so many. Like, my mother hasn't had migraines since I took her to a spiritual energy healer that used different words upon my suggestion. And it's been over 2 months since she had a migraine headache. And for people who know me and been following me for a very long time, they will know that she's had migraines pretty much my whole life. Well, yeah, my whole life. They started with her first child, and I'm her middle child of 5 kids. So yeah, there's a lot out there that's very exciting to help the people we care about, but it's got to come in their package and comfort or familiarity, unless you're going to be like cheeky like me and find a way around that. Cool. I love how people are connecting here too. It says online can be toxic. If overconsumption, says a bag of health, Canada recommends not to eat more than 3 per day, and can prevent it. If a cancer patient needs it, would need to eat 12 apricot kernels. I don't know why you would believe what they're saying online, because most of the things that they say are toxic actually is not, and what they say is good for you actually is not. Right? Like, we know that the internet and Google and search engines have all been bought out, and anything that is actually good and useful gets bumped way, 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 way down, so people don't get to see it. So I wouldn't trust that. Michael from Florida, hi! Yeah, it's nice to see you here. We talk quite a bit on Telegram when I remember to check my Telegram, because I'm awful at Telegram. There's way too many messages and chats and groups there that I just get so overwhelmed I just don't even bother to look at it anymore. I'm still better on WhatsApp, but we know that WhatsApp's gone to the dark side like everything else. Apricot seeds, or B17, are converted to cyanide, not arsenic, as I mentioned it earlier. Yes. Well, also apple seeds too have arsenic in it, right? Yeah, I know, it's amazing. And she was able to, like, kind of go on these visual journeys, and she could see things of the migraines and what they were as far as, like, entities and stuff like that. And she just did a very little bit of work, and it was able to have tremendous results. And she also does quantum, what is it? QHT. It's basically Dolores Cannon's teachings and hypnotherapy journeys. I actually met up with her to have that experience, because I love Dolores Cannon. I love the stuff that she shares. I think that's absolutely, like, accurate. And so I was like, you know what? I have been a bit estranged with my guides, and a little hesitant about certain things within myself, and need to kind of a little bit of a tune-up and some confirmation on things. So I did a 5-hour session with her, and it's really cool because you can ask whatever questions you like. If you find, like, Dolores is now, not Dolores, but I think she was starting to do that right before she passed away, but she, her daughter, they worked really hard to train as many people as possible all over the world. You can find a practitioner wherever you are, to do a similar sort of a journey, and it's recorded, so you can listen to it after, and it is usually 5 hours long, and some charge a lot more than others, some are more reasonable. It really just depends who you find, and But I recommend it. I thought it was pretty incredible, and it's neat that you can really ask anything. And I got a couple of my friends to do it as well, who were feeling lost spiritually, and I I kind of helped them with their questions too, just to kind of be like, you can be like, you can really go out there. You can talk about or ask about memories to have of a life in between life, or a life as a nature spirit, or life as an animal, or whatever your soul wants you to know about at this time, or find out about, talk to the soul of your past loved ones or people you didn't see eye to eye to. I went to ask about my brother and what actually happened to him, because my emotional connection can get in the way of interpreting or reading. Even other psychics too, who tried to figure out what happened to him, their emotionality got in the way too of their attachment towards me, or I don't know, wanting to please me or something, which they shouldn't need to do, because I don't care about stuff like this. You don't need, but I appreciate that they're trying to help me also figure out about what happened to my brother and things like that. But yeah, like it's this so many things you can ask, like life as an ET world, or the Orions someone was talking about. So yeah, let me just come. I'm getting a little bit missing things. Just gonna check again. I know you guys now can see the comments, but I still read them out loud regardless now, because I don't know. Just so you guys know what I'm talking about in the moment, or whose comment I'm reading and addressing right now. Okay. Scream Engine, hello. Yes, this is my third live. I tried to do one every week, but I suck at this. No, you're not late. It's okay. I was actually going to leave soon, and then stuff started up again. But yeah, you can catch what you missed. It was just about my trip to Calgary and some of the adventures and things I recently went on. Aw, Newfoundland! I want to go there. I love that place. Even though you guys are the ones that are the reason why, particularly the Americans, think that we say a boot and stuff like that. But I think, I don't know, I really want to see the maritime part of Canada, like Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and I guess because I'm a big fan of the Anna Green Gables series as well, so that's what just makes me think about. But I bet it's beautiful out there. I'm doing a live. Can you talk to me later? Hi, Peachy.
Yes, can you fold your clothes in?
Not right now, though.
No, it's right here.
Yeah, just leave it there. Can you please close my door? Otherwise, I'm going to be distracted. Oh, okay, maybe I'll do it. But then you guys are going to see my messy room. Can you? Thank you.
Come on, Peach.
Peach, go. Where's Mom? Where's Mom? Come here for a second. Come here for a second. Oh, you don't have
Give her
a...
love and give her to me.
Peach. Okay, but I don't want a COVID test. But I don't want that up the nose. Come on. You're supposed to say hi to everybody, not me. Gosh, you're a squiggly creature.
Come on.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the 1,000 kisses. Okay, just a moment. I gotta close my door.
Peaches, come.
Peach. Come on. Peach. Out. Yes, Newfoundland's awesome. Definitely want to go one day. And Montreal. And also because I really like C'est Juste une Farce. I can't speak French, even though I'm supposed to as a Canadian. Yes. I just think we should see our country as much as we can, like even I bet northern BC and definitely want to also see Alaska, even though that's not my country. It's close. Close enough. Yeah, blessings to everybody who's attending the live. Yeah, you're welcome. You're leaving, Michael? See you on Telegram? Yeah, I'll send you a message on Telegram. I know where to find you. That's the only place we can talk. No, but it's a fun dialect. I have a friend who can pull it out every now and then. When I found out they're from there, I'm like, can you talk like a Newfie? And I also really like Newfie music. I like the Great Big Sea and all those sort of. I'm pretty sure that the Newfies are just people from Ireland that came out there, so they created that dialect. But I think it's just wonderful. Yeah, Irish, Canuck, American, Brit, Scot mixed with a dash of alien language. Exactly. You said it great. Oh, people over generations says there's a great breweries too. Yeah, oh yeah, you guys love your drinks and your beers. What? Okay, this is so, you must really know me quite well. If you ever head here, a coffee and fart contest is in order. Yes. I'm pretty good at, well, I don't really drink coffee, but I'm quite the farter. My mother says, you're just a fragrant girlfriend, that's all. But, you know, I don't know what it is. I like to punctuate my sentence with gas. Burping, too. Quite the burper. Beer will make me burp. So, yes, I will definitely take you up on that one day. Scream Engine, thank you. In San Diego. Yeah, I've been there a few times. It's a cute little town. Or city, actually. I haven't been there in a while. One of the guys from One Direction was just here. He's Irish and he was quite confused at our vast accents. Which guy from One Direction? I know some of them. What do I know? I know Harry and I know Zayn. And that's it. Yes. Yes, see? Not a lady. Tomboy. I tried to tell people, like, they're very surprised when they meet me. And they think I'm going to be like a lady or something. And I'm like, wrong. Yeah. Expectations versus reality. Is Atlantis in the center of Antarctica? There's so many theories of where Atlantis is. I think it's the Atlantic Ocean as a whole. Because it used to be above, used to all be land, right? And then it just, like, all these more, land goes, it's interesting to think how many, like, continents are now under the water. And that, like, the Pacific Ocean particularly, like, it's just land that was above that's now gone, and new land that has risen as well. It's also kind of exciting to see what kind of new land we'll get. That's okay. I'm not such a huge fan of One Direction. I don't know too much about One Direction. I'm not really into mainstream music, though. Somehow I have it all memorized. I don't know why. I tend to memorize every song I hear and sing it off key. But it's still like a nice therapy for me just to sing, so I do. Sing everything wholeheartedly, just don't have the ears, because I just want to mimic how they sing and the lyrics, and that's it. So yeah. I always like overshare. I think that's very typical, I guess. Even in my first interview with Project Camelot, I basically used it as like a confession booth to the world, and I think I'm just still doing that. I just like to share all my secrets, and it's just very compulsive for me, but at the same time it's like physically painful to like withhold information and not share things, which is like a double-edged sword, as you can imagine. Particularly for like jobs and stuff like that, but I just don't have a filter. Yeah, so very open. Yes, people, because I think that's what power is. And the whole reason that the Cabal and Darkseid can do all the shit that they're doing is because of secrets. So if secrets are gone, then power is gone. It's that simple. And that's really what we're living in, the time of Revelations and Apocalypse, which means, etymology-wise, because I love it, the origin of words, is to come to light of what's been hidden. And that's indeed the time we're living in. Everything's coming out of what's been hidden. But that also is a mirror on us, too, for what are we hiding, that we can reveal. Because there is this... I find that lying is a lot of work and a waste of brain cells, because you have to remember what you told what person, And just to, after a while, keeping track of the stories is just so much work. And sooner or later, it contradicts itself. And so I just kind of like, with guys particularly, and they tell me what I think I want to hear, and then I just kind of give them time, and then they kind of back themselves in a corner with their lies, and so their stories. So yeah, it's just not worth it. I don't know how people can like lie compulsively and keep track of that. It's better what you're withholding from the universe withholds from you. I guess. I just want to be fully me in whatever shape or form that wants to come out. Even if it's just fart. It's a strange primordial need to upset the slewed balance of the whacked out society. The need to stir. Well, that's us. We're indigo children. We start off as indigo children. We can go into crystal child energy, because indigo child is just a system buster. And a lot of us start off as system busters, and then we transmute that because we realize that we go into this state of unconditional love for ourselves and empathy, and then also for others, because we can see, how much they're struggling and how hard it is, and we see their divine, and we just want them to see that, and we try to mirror it in whatever way we can, and then that's crystalline energy. So I never liked when I heard, oh, you're either an indigo or a crystal, or you're this or that, and I'm like, you can be both. You can go back and forth. I went back, like during the Freedom Fighter days, which is still going on. I still fluctuate into indigo mode as well, right? It's balance, like we're talking about. Grounded, you need to be, sure, but you also need to have your head in the clouds as well. Need your left, need your right brain. And yeah, it's all about just balance. I forgot that other part that I was talking about. Oh yeah, indigo and crystal, and we need to have balance of that as well, right? All parts of yourself. Don't play favorites, because when you play favorites and you're just like, I'm right brain, I'm spiritual, I want to, this is what I choose to stay in all the time, then left brain situations are going to happen all the time. It's just like that other child that you're favoring, the one that feels left out, will create a whole bunch of problems for you. You're like, oh yeah? We have to deal with this part as well. So, yeah. Your headphones on, running outside and listening. Good. Get some exercise. I've been doing kickboxing and taekwondo and Krav Maga and some other ones that I don't know the name of in this moment. I just kind of fell into that, and it's pretty good. I do like Jackie Chan movies and stuff like that, and it's just neat to have that body discipline, because as when you're spiritual a lot, particularly for me, I forget that I have a body, and it feels sometimes like my spirit is this older sibling, and I just get so caught up in things that I'm doing, and then I get like, oh, don't forget you have a body. Take your body sibling with you. Aw, but it's slow, so I kind of always feel like I can see why there's such a war and a trap with the body, where it feels like a ball and chain and shackles to the spirit, and then how the darkness uses the body to control us with pain and the fear of the pain that can be done to our physical form before going back into spiritual. I wrote several poems about this, also how the spirit and matter are lovers under covers, and how also about ascension, how spirit keeps coming back into physical to find a way to take physical with it, not to have to keep leaving it behind or separating like that, though it's also kind of a peekaboo and hide and seek with the divine. Yeah, I'm going very meta on you guys. Hope I'm making sense. Yeah, indigo mode, exactly like a tree. Same thing. Listen to An Undertow by Alve's band is relatable. Okay, I'll have to check that out then after, because every time you guys send me recommendations now, I'm absolutely, totally on board to listen and check it out, and super curious, and I like to kind of see what other people see. I'm very, very fascinated when I meet people and I see the way they think. I like to compare notes with how I think, and I like to kind of figure out how they come to conclusions that they do. I like to kind of track the traffic of their mind and their perceptions and what merit and weight they give to memories and experiences and stuff like that. I don't know, just self-defense I just fell into, right? It's just something just to be in my body and to be disciplined and to have some sort of routine and structure. Otherwise, I will just be like lost in my world and yeah, caught up. But like one of the classes is on Saturday at 7:30 a.m. And at first I told my friend because she really wanted me to do this, and I'm like, I'm not giving up waking up early on a Saturday. That's my time to sleep in. But now I'm like, you know, I like waking up this early because you feel kind of productive, that you got some things done, and you didn't waste the day by sleeping, waking up at 11 or whatever. And because I'm not like I'm a night owl, but not because I party. I definitely have never partied, but more just my mind's very active at night, and I will write and I do a bunch of different things, and think and visit people in dreams. I wake up very tired. But the point is, I like waking up early on a weekend because I have a lot more of the day left to do things. So that's why I always try to put my lives for 11, because I know after class I'll be refreshed and ready to go. And lots of energy and pumped and things like that. But that didn't happen this time because I got stranded in Kelowna and needed time to recover and didn't make it to class either because I got home so late and I was so tired and so sore with let's show everybody again, my swimmer's ear, because I love to swim. So I go in water all the time. Cold dipping as well is I don't know if you guys know about cold dipping, but the results, the health benefits of this is just phenomenal. Not just for like people in like serious chronic pain their whole life. It could be relieved just by 5 minutes a day of cold water, but also mental anguish. There was a girl that had struggled with suicide ideation, and she just started cold dipping because she heard that could help, and then she's never ever had any kind of thought like that ever again after a few weeks of cold dipping. So it's just phenomenal. I don't know, I just love cold water. No one is brave enough to go in the cold water with me, so I go in by myself. But that's just how it is. No one even wants to go in the water even when it's like nice. They're like, that's cold. I'm like, no, it's not. But yeah. My brother said I look like a blonde seal, it's like I stood on the dock and I could see you. You're way far out on the other side. You swam, and he's like, I think I can see you from space with how white your hair is right now. So, but when it gets sunny, my hair gets really light, and you can tell that it's not natural. I did amplify it a bit, but you can tell that my hair is really light because of my eyebrows. I barely have any eyebrows. That's how light colored they are. I tend to color them in, but then I feel it looks ridiculous. Oh, you weren't exercising, just the opposite, cigarettes and beer. Yeah, definitely not into cigarettes. And beer, no, I don't really like it. Like I said, it just makes me burp. I jumped back to cigarettes and picked up Corona beer. Temporarily hooked again. Quit cigarettes. You'll quit cigarettes again. You know, it's not the best thing for you. Yeah, why be scared? You are pure energy, and you cannot you You cannot be created or destroyed. We're not born. We're never born. We don't die. We are not just eternal, we are dreams. We're dreaming of possibilities of we're God's dream. Dreaming of these identities, these characters, all these things that we can experience. Like, it's just, I love that. I think that's amazing. Yes, it's from Wim Hof cold dipping. That's right. He's the one who started all of it. My friend even took a course with him. But she's just scared of water to like drown, so I have to teach everybody how to swim as well, and I failed yellow many times. I was terrified of water, and then I remembered that my sister broke my nose when I was a baby. She pushed me down the stairs in the stroller, and you're like, Jess, where are you going with this? This is super random. Well, because my sister broke my nose, the reason I was afraid of water is because I don't know how to not breathe in the water, and it goes in my nose and it's unpleasant, so I would like swim like this and freak out, which a lot of people have that issue. Or they just had something happen in their past life that freaks them out, like my mom was terrified of water. I think I had an incarnation where I drowned in water too, but I don't know, I still just love water. So anyway, because I broke my nose, I realized I can plug my nose with my top lip. And that changed everything and made me love water, teach myself how to swim. Really, people can't teach me to do anything. I just want to do things on my own and figure it out on my own. I'm stubborn like this. But it's just kind of funny if a guy is like checking me out on land and then they see me underwater with goggles as a kid, it would be like, okay, I'm going to show you now because that's no other way to kind of get you to understand what I look like now versus what I look like when I plug my nose with my top lip. Okay? How am I going to do this without laughing? Okay. I can't do it if I'm laughing. Okay. I'm going to do it. That's my underwater face. And that's what I do. And I can stay underwater for quite a while that way. Super hot, hey? Yeah, Iceman's a big phenomenon as well. It's so amazing to connect on an energy level, but it's also amazing to see what the human body is capable. I'm watching the show on Disney Plus right now about real life superheroes with super abilities. It's pretty cool. With Stan Lee enlisting a contortionist to find people, and there's so many different things. There's someone who dreams the future. There's someone who doesn't feel any pain. There's someone who can be electrocuted and not like die. There's like someone who can do fast math equations in their head. There's echolocation. They're totally blind, born blind, and yet they see everything by like a bat. There's a guy who in India who was going to kill himself, and then he saw the monkeys, and suddenly the monkeys inspired him to climb, and now he climbs like a monkey, and he has that ability. He's accessed this strength in his fingertips, which is how the monkeys are able to climb. It's just so fascinating. Like, the monkeys are like, hey, wait a second. This is an activation time for you to realize, that we don't want you to, don't kill yourself. Remember who you are. We're mirroring right now your infinite ability, and you see us climbing and doing our thing. You can do it as well. And then what's really neat is they study this. The scientists study what they're doing different that other people, like they have an average person try to climb, and then they have this person who's able to channel the monkeys and learn how to climb from the monkeys. And then they have like Savant, a guy who's autistic, like Rain Man, I guess, but he remembers every song he ever heard in his entire life. Not just that, he can play it on the piano. It's really incredible. I recommend you check it out. There's many episodes and a couple seasons now. Yes, Duckface. I can't, I don't know. Duckface makes me think of a baboon's ass. I don't know. It's just not attractive at all. I don't know if it's a duck. Maybe this is more likely to be a duck. Another useless talent. Yeah, I'm wacky. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, mainstream is releasing more and more cool stories. It's getting out there. The truth. It's cool. It's really nice. Yeah, those are my stories and useless talents. Oh hey, Tone Deaf is here. Hello. Hi. We've been here for a bit now because I don't know. You guys probably saw I was coming online and then I changed my mind. Just got shy and overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I know. You know, you guys wait and wait for me, and then I delay and I delay and I delay, and then I push it, and then friends private message me and say, "Hey, aren't you doing a live? You just do it. Just do it." And it's like, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, and I'm always glad I do. It's always fun. But I don't. I just in my head I make it seem like it's gonna be this big thing, pressure, to. Yeah. But it's not. It's always awesome. Well, where do my cats go? Here's a cat. He's in here. Like the business cat. I have 4 cats here in my room. You know what? They missed me too. When I was gone for 7 days, and I've never been gone 7 days from them. I got a few. They like all. So this guy in particular, ginger cats. I love ginger cats. They're just such sweethearts. But this guy, he came in the middle of the night because I couldn't get him to come in the night when I came back, and he rubbed his face all over my face and his ass in my face as well, because this is how they show their affection, and was purring incessantly and kneading my chest and just like basically saying, "Welcome back, I missed you." No, where's my food? No. And Everest, the white guy that I showed earlier, he also did the same thing later on. Like, they all took their kind of times to be super affectionate. The only one that didn't really show affection, who I kind of had to work to catch, who, because they didn't come in when they're supposed to come, which is when it's dark, they have a curfew, they come in. If they don't, they get grounded, basically. They can't go out. So, oh yeah, you're just loving the scratches, aren't you, business cat? He's got a lot of names. I call him business cat because I dreamed him wearing a business suit, but he's actually named Beau, like French version, like boyfriend. Hey? What's up, business? Such a sweet guy. You're so sweet. It's 5 a.m. in the morning here. I know, I try to do different times as well. Like, that's why, like, I feel like... Ow! You stuck your nails in my nose! Yeah, so, if I do 11 a.m., I think that'd be better timing for you than the evenings that I always end up doing anyway. Oh, good. Go have your tea. I love chai tea. Hey, quit sticking your nails in me. I already have a lot of holes in my face thanks to you guys. Yeah, you and your cat politics. God, you're an amazing soul. Oh, I love this cat. Yeah. Hello, Blue Flyer. This guy's just such a lover. Yeah. He's the father of the white guy that you saw. Oh, Belle is watching something very intently. So, how are you newbies? I can't believe, do you usually wake up at 5 a.m., Tone? Or is that like a special thing? Like, did you just kind of randomly wake up? Like, for me, the only time I wake up that early, which now I do wake up that early, but it's always because of my bladder. It's like, don't want to get out of bed, it's so comfy, and then bladder's like, nope, sorry, gotta get out. What a baby. He is. He really is. Ginger cats, man. There's something about them. He's also a very good father. He loves all of his children very much. He just helps look after them and helps the mother give birth, cleans her and everything. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's true that the male cat eats the babies. Maybe if they're not his, but even I think some of the children aren't his, and he's still the sweetest guy ever. So, yeah. Yeah. What was I talking about before I forgot? Oh, yeah, 5 a.m. I don't know what to say now. There's 13 people here. We're just all gonna stare at each other awkwardly. It'd be cool if we can also have you guys on video. Right? So I don't have my singing Warner Brother Frog moments where I have a lot to say in one moment and then the next I'm just like ribbit. Yeah, okay, so it's a little bit earlier than usual for you. You wake up because of the sun. It's interesting when you're outside and you're like camping or in like sleeping out in a trailer. Like at my friend's Space of Love, Kin's Domain. You tend to wake up a lot earlier, and it's nice, and you don't really keep track of time. Like time is you have a different relationship with it, which I like, because I've never liked clocks or watches or time, because I find it's always very bossy, telling you what to do, when to do it, and stuff like that. Hi, Banyan. What's so pretty? The kitty? Agreed. Long days, yeah, and that's also nice too, because you get, again, a lot done, right? We're productive that way. Like, cats sleep so much and they stare, like, what exactly do? They stare at nothing for 4 hours, and wander around a little bit, like, they're not, I always find it interesting how animals don't spend much time working. We're the only creatures that spend a lot of time working. An owl spends like 5 minutes. And like, not even, like a snake spends like a couple hours a week. Or even several weeks. And that's it. And then they just get they've caught their food, they're good, and then they're just gonna go do their own thing, whatever that is. You love clocks and watches? Why do you love clocks and watches? I'd like to know. Well, time is also such an interesting thing, because there is some merit to, like, if you're doing something, I don't know why I'm saying like so much. I hate sounding like a valley girl. I'm not, but like, I totally sound like one. Okay, you can go, baby. This guy's here now. Oh no, this is Appalachia and Everest. Guys having a meeting on my bed? Those are this guy's children. No, you be good. You don't fight with your son. So yeah, when we're doing things we don't like, time goes by very slowly. And when you're doing something you like, you enjoy, like you're on you're on the couch with your sweetheart, time goes by very, very fast, right? So there's definitely something to time and what we're doing. So I do feel like the cabal can trap us with time, forcing us to do jobs we don't like and stuff like that, making it go slower. Particularly when you're in pain, it goes even slower. Particularly when you're checking it all the time, it goes very slow. But then other times you're doing something you love, wow, time flies. I can't believe how quickly it went, right? But time is mostly non-linear. Past, present, and future are all existing simultaneously. And the past is the future, and the future is the past. Yeah, lions, they sleep for almost 18 hours a day. I'm fascinated with what they do. Like, are they meditating? What are they doing? What are they thinking? I know they can see other realms. Like cats, they're staring at nothing for 4 hours, or watching like probably fairies or something, Because I mean, people are fascinating to try to understand how they're thinking, but even more fascinating is animals, for sure. That's how we preserve our energy. Thoughtless. Our natural state of mind is thoughtless, and that's how we preserve our energy, thought, and emotions drain. I don't know if it's thoughtless. It's interesting though when you're driving and you're not really thinking of much, but you're concentrating really hard. But I'm also someone that needs distraction in order to do things, even studying. I need to have the music on. I need to have the TV on. I need to have things to distract me to the point that I'm able to focus really well. And my mother's like, I don't know how you do that, but that's just extremely natural for me. But thoughtlessness, I think it's also an aspect of our mind that we tap into. So let me see if I can remember this. This is a while ago. I used to talk about this. Is it beta brainwave is what we are in when we're like most of the time just kind of living our life and doing our thing, and then delta, oh god, I can't remember, it's sleeping, and alpha is daydreaming, and theta is when the Twilight Zone basically occurs. You're in this no time and space sort of thing where, I don't know, portals open up or something happens where you're just in this whole other realm of yourself, so you're using a different part of your mind. And that's what's interesting about that show about real life superheroes, or people who have these superhuman abilities. The story of how they develop it's really interesting, but just also that, like, they're using these different parts of their brain, and we use less than 5% or you're conscious of that. And like dolphins use 100% of their brain and 50 while they're asleep. Therefore, dolphins consider humans to be asleep. Like, this blows my mind. I find that so freaking fascinating. That like we really are infinite potential, and we don't know what we're capable of, and we have used such a small percentage. And then certain things happen in life, or you're born a certain way, or that suddenly you find you have these abilities you didn't know, and like it's just dormant. And I say that if you take a seed and put it in a metal box for 1,000 years, 10,000, 100,000 years, however long, like as soon as you take it out and put it in the ground, it knows exactly what it is and still grows into that. It never ever forgets, because it's encoded in itself. And so I think that's the same thing again for us as well. Like, it could feel like a very long time that we've been put in a metal box, not allowed to grow or be what we are, but like, it never goes away. It's dormant within us, all these abilities, and just the way for it to come about is just amazing. Aren't you excited about that? I'm so excited about that. This is why I could never get bored, because I get so fascinated by thoughts like this, and it inspires me, and it makes me want to write, and makes me want to like speak to the part of when I see people or talk to people. I look at the part of that person that already knows, what's going on and who they are. And it's just, that's where the guide communication happens, where I speak with their guides, and just this amazing sort of symbiotic relationship happens between their spirits and my spirit. And then also there's this other conversation we're having in 3D as well. And then I'm a multitasker, so I'm keeping track of all these different conversations and kind of weaving them together and comparing notes between the realization, the consciousness of these two conversations happening. So fascinating. And then also just talking about going back to the people that helped me when my car died in Kelowna. I was saying, like, everybody who's watched my videos or connected with me, like, we know each other somehow. Like, our souls are having meetings and discussing how we're going to meet in the physical. And like, for that particular one, it was like, okay, so how about my car breaks down in Kelowna when I do a road trip in their area? And they happen to see the message that day, checking it at that time. Like, I'm so tickled by the universe and how these things come about. I have so many random stories like that of just how people came into my life, and I'm sure our souls are hanging out backstage and discussing like all these great ways we can interact. And so even all you people here right now, like, some I've met in person and some I haven't, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do meet in person, in whether you've invited me out, which people always do that, which is always so incredible. I'm always so touched by that. But also that, or it's just a spontaneous random thing. I happen to be in your area and we connect. It's just wild. Okay, that's why you like clocks, because you worked in an aerospace industry as a skilled machinist. I have a mechanic on my mind because that's what I had help with when my car died in Kelowna. The first engineers were clock masters. Well, I think that's fascinating. So it's our relationship to clocks as well, I think. You have a totally different perspective on clocks than others, and I think, again, the original essence of it was probably something much more pure than what it's become now, right? It inverted how clocks are being used nowadays versus how they should have been used. They can be used as a prison, or they can be used as a liberator, like I was talking about earlier. The dead may be ruling the world, hearing voices in our head. Well, that's why we're the living dead, half alive but mostly dead, right? It feels that way. Particularly when they're hungry for brains to think like us and be like them and all that kind of stuff. Hungry for thought, hungry for originality, even more hungry for heart, emotion, connection. They're hearing voices most likely because of Wi-Fi and 5G, which is, what these technologies were designed for, to send subliminal messages to people through technology, TV. You should never sleep with the TV on or even plugged in, because it sends all kinds of, the military can send messages to people, and they can think they're going crazy because they're hearing voices. And when you're hearing voices, you need to navigate what exactly you're hearing, just like when you're communicating with your guides. First of all, how do you know that's your guides? And then how do you know, like, the source of the information, and what's the ramification of the information that I'm getting? Like, there's a whole bunch of things that it opens up, but you learn to differentiate. You learn to understand the differences and what is what. I guess I have that ability. I can tell the difference. Took a lot trial and error, but we can do it. We're supposed to do it, and that's just another kind of the journey of alchemicalizing ourselves to realize, again, the differences of these things. Yes, that's right. They do have a World Seed Bank in Switzerland and Finland. They have a lot of organic, non-GMO seeds just underground, hoarded away, and they're in this massive metal container, and at some point they're going to be planted again, and I'm sure it will overrule the genetically modified ones as well, and could purify the earth. And it's interesting because it kind of makes me think of like an ark, how there was 2 of each animals, but also there must have also been plants as well on there too, so we don't lose plant species as well, right? So to me, it's like, okay, we can replant and recreate a Garden of Eden with pristine seeds. Hopefully I'm not touching the mic, because I tend to have my finger over the mic. Our supernatural abilities are born in silence, according to Taoism and Sata science. Yeah, so that also, regarding that show, what also fascinates me about it is supernature, and why I just, there's so many reasons I love nature, but also just that everything that we think science has invented, nature has already invented. So I was telling people not too long ago, I went to a farm, and they were sitting by a ditch, and there was a frog singing, or their dog started like watching this. They're like, "Is there a frog behind me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where? I hear it, but I don't see it." And I said, "Do you want me to catch it for you?" And they're like, "Sure." And I caught it with my bare hands, because that's just what I do. I've done as a kid. I just catch. I did that at when I was with my brother and his wife too in Calgary. I caught a gardener snake with my bare hand. They pointed to the snake, and then I picked it up and gave it to them, and they kind of freaked out. But I don't know. I don't think about it. I can just catch it like that. I just grew up that way, and so I caught this frog. And it was very easy to catch. They were all impressed that I caught it, and I just picked it up like nothing. And the reason I could catch it so easily, that it didn't really move that much, is because it's still like a bit kind of colder weather here. It's just now starting to get warm. And see, when it's cold, frogs cryogenically freeze themselves. And then when it starts to get warmer, they unthaw themselves. And they do this every winter. And my point of this story is that whatever we think we've invented, nature has already done it. Just like, you know, in the depths of the sea, there's all these sea creatures that have this crazy light technology, or the lightning bug, or just everything. And they're how, you know, we're so amazed how Jesus walked on water, but there's a lizard called the basilisk that I met in the Philippines that walks on water as well. And just everything that we think is just a miracle or a special or psychic or whatever, technology is all in nature. And that technology made me realize that technology is training wheels for what we can do on our own. We don't believe in ourselves though, but we believe in technology. Our phone is like, it's telepathy. And the internet, the interlinking of the one and the many minds, just like trees and mushrooms and things like that, they're all interconnected and communicating, you know. And this like this the synapses of the brain. And but again, we don't believe in ourselves, but we believe in technology. So sooner or later, you have to take the training wheels off, because you rely too much on that technology, that you forget that you can do it on your own. And that's this other thing about the old system. Like, they're giving us these ways to live and making us so dependent on it, and then holding it for ransom and taking it away and all this kind of stuff. And we don't need it, because we could do it naturally on our own. See? So that's what I was going with there. Sorry, I go on all these random thoughts. So, our supernatural abilities are born in. Okay, I read that. Love that. Okay. Do you think they can read thoughts? Are you talking about who can read thoughts by they? Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. Well, it's mirrors, right? So we talk about mirrors. What also fascinates me is how of water. So I talk about my love of water and swimming and things like that. But 90% of us, all of our bodies are mostly made up of water. Like, what is 80% water, I think? And so if the water, if you were walking by a lake and the water is disturbed, it's moving, and you're looking at a reflection of yourself and the world, then that's going to be a distorted image, right? You're not going to get an accurate view of yourself and the world. So monks and Buddhists they're all about like inner peace and meditation and enlightenment and calming the mind. Calming the mind meaning calming the waters, because if the water inside of us is disturbed, then the image of ourself and the world will be distorted. Calming the mind will then make the water calm as well, and the reflection of ourself and the world will be much more accurate and less like funhouse mirrors, which is what we're living in. And then water is governed by the moon, which is creating not just the waves of the oceans and the bodies of water of this planet, but also within ourselves. Because the planet is a biological living being, and the human beings are the cells. So, you know, if the planet is sick, then the people are sick. And if the people are sick, then the planet is sick. And cancer is when one cell doesn't recognize that they're on the same team, and so they fight. And so we're affecting each other. And that's, I was going with it here somewhere. I was going, and I can't remember where I was going with this, but yeah, I think you get the idea of what I'm talking about, of being governed by waves and the water of the moon influencing our bodies as well, but also being aware that it's doing that, and still managing to calm our waters. Now, there's also this facet that the moon that we have right now is a artificial replacement, and the moon is always thought to be a goddess or a mother. And fairy tales always talk about an evil stepmother. And so if the moon is not the actual original moon, but an artificial satellite, it's like could be considered something like an evil stepmother that infiltrates our inner oceans and distorts things even more so compared to what it was like before that artificial moon was brought here. Do you guys have any memories of your lives before when we had the original moon here, the original mother, and not this being replaced by this other stepmother moon? So I think, yes, we have to change ourselves. Of course, it's an inside job, and it reflects. I think that, that's also why the earth is hollow, and there's dimensions and worlds inside there that's also mirroring us as well, going within for the answers. It's all within, right? Yeah, the military can put voices in our head, if that's what you're referring to, the military. Of course they do. Making breakfast and listening. So cool, literally. What's cool? Was the flow I was going on? Nothing new under the sun. No, it's all the same thing over and over again until we realize it, right? I'm losing light. True virtue does not act and has no intention. Yeah. Okay. Even pollution is a product of nature. That is, if mankind is. Okay, that reminds me of negativity. We talk about negative, and negative's bad and positive is good. I don't agree with this. Again, it's like emotions, anger and sadness is not bad. It's not pleasant, but it's our relationship to it which really needs to be addressed, because our emotions are like keys on a keyboard, and we need them all in order to have a kind of a harmony. Now, negativity, is it negative or is it reality? If someone's telling you a tidal wave's coming to your house and you're like, oh, don't be so negative. No, it's reality for you to act, to do something about. So I think we have a very distorted ideas of negativity, particularly in the spiritual realm. But also, like, it's more like a yin and yang, because there is in the dark side a little white circle, and on the light side there is a little dark circle. And so what I'm getting at there is that when we go to the beach and we stand on the shore, we feel really good. Or even out in nature, we feel in the forest rejuvenated. Rejuvenated. And that is because of negative ions. Negative. Right? So I just think that we have to be a little bit careful about what we're talking about when we refer to negativity and positivity, because an over positive charge too isn't necessarily the best thing either. So now we're going back to our relationship to things and balance. Water is incredible stuff. Water is memory. Water is mirror. Like every single drop of water we drink has been on such a journey, and like been probably on a foot of a fox, and has a memory of that. So like I water, man. Or just imagine being one drop falling from the sky, and then you connect with other drops, or you land right down into a puddle and you're connected with all these other water droplets that again thought they were alone on their own individual journey, only to reconnect. And I find that too, like when people compare themselves to me or even to others, I'm like, no, we're the same. Like, maybe you see me as a big wave, but you're a small wave, but we're still a part of the same body of water. We're still water. We're still oceans. We have our time and place when we're a big wave or a small wave, no wave, evaporation in the sky, in someone's body, in the collective water of an ocean, lake, river, stream, puddle, all these things. And it all remembers everything. And there probably is a way to access those memories, which is probably a big connection to the Akashic Records. Like, do you think the higher ups can harness thoughts from, say, shots or satellites? Just a theory, a thought, but don't think of it much really. Yes, they can. Yeah, they're spying on us, just like our guides spy on us as well. Yeah, but it's really pathetic. I just find those so pathetic. Like, there's just whatever. You've lost. Go away. Yeah. I just don't give a merit. I really am a fan of blasphemy and making fun of your gods and your rulers and breaking them down to size so they don't have power over you, particularly mentally. How the Schumann frequency goes up and down is a science of how people and Earth are connected. Yeah, that's another fascinating way to look at it. I love the stories of people that never eat or drink. They've literally trained their bodies to absorb nutrients and water from the environment and then become breatharians and things like that. And there's stories of people's buttholes closing up too. So, I mean, again, we don't... So we probably drinking and eating is a way that we're controlled by the cabal with our bodies and stuff like that. Again, ball and chains, why the physical feels like ball and chains to shackles to the spirit aspect of ourselves. But, it's also, we don't need to eat. A lot of us do, but a lot of us don't eat very much and they're fine, or they can get sustenance from very, very little, from even just dandelions. And dandelions grow everywhere. During the Great Depression, families would eat dandelion leaves. They're super bitter, but it was enough sustenance to get them by. Anastasia seems to just eat randomly in the whatever she finds in the forest, and she's fine, and it's not that much. She never sits down to prepare a meal or anything like that. And so, again, like, we're overindulging, and then it kind of gets held hostage, and we have to spend a lot of money to keep having this overindulgence that we never actually needed, and it overwhelms our body because it works so hard for us, and we just give it way too much, and it doesn't get to it takes a lot of work for it to digest everything. It's like we're not a very good boss to our body, because they want a break, and we're just like, no, keep working overtime without pay. Throughout the night, you have to digest this food I ate and stuff like that. So I'm always thinking about these things. You do not have any memories before this moon. Very neat concept. Oh, you will. I like to plant seeds, so when I say things like, do you remember, I'm indicating that I'm going to make sure you remember. Whether you have psychic lucid dreams or certain experiences or whatever, however it's going to come about, this is a Jessica specialty. I'm a Cancerian. It's a moon sign. Moon thing with the moon can be pain in the bum. Yes, it can, particularly if you're a woman. Lunacy. Jessica, I remember I came across both you and Gigi Young over 10 years ago. Oh yeah, I know. I remember those interviews, those videos. Just recently I crossed both of your paths again. It's great how much both of you have grown. Found you via the Ringing Cedars. I haven't talked to Gigi in a long time, but the last time I talked to her when we did those videos, I remember I was really encouraging her to speak because she wanted to do what I was doing, but just wasn't confident, I guess. And I was like, you have a lot to share, and just trust yourself, it'll come out of you. And she did. And she made a big channel, and she's quite successful, and that's awesome. And I probably started stopping around that time and slowing down and kind of going more low key. But anybody I meet that, you know, I just try to encourage to share their messages, whatever kind of concerns we have or think we're not ready or whatever. Life decides, you know, when we're ready, not us. And can you say a woman's ever ready to have a child? They just have it and they figure it out, you know. So yeah, I think that, like, if you're also insecure or concerned that, like, I'm not saying anything new, people will resonate, well, there's always going to be 50% who will like and resonate with you, and better from you from someone else, because we all have different perspectives and approaches to saying, even if it is the same thing. It's just, you know, if you don't put yourself out there and get out of your own way, because we are our worst critic, hence why I put off doing live sometimes, because I see myself on camera and I'm like, oh, I can't do a video and look at myself all this time, it's awful. So I just started to be really hard on myself, or I hear my voice or something and I'm like, oh. So, or I'm like, I didn't say anything very intelligent here. I don't really know why people want to listen to me, right? That's you in your way, and just what you think about yourself and how other people are going to see you is definitely not the same. So people will get value out of you. And that's kind of this talk I gave to Gigi, and because she was struggling with all of that, and now she's not, right? Like, you don't let fear make you into its bitch. When your message is strong, fear takes a backseat, and that's all there is to it. Whatever insecurities you have, whatever war you're waging on yourself or being hard on yourself for, it's all irrelevant. It really doesn't matter, because what matters is the message, right? Like a lion chewing and screaming on a gazelle is dark but natural. Kind of. I don't think animals were meant to consume each other. I think that that's something that's happened with this sort of dark energy that's been, like, sentenced the whole planet to. Like, consume all the time and suffering all the time. I think there was a time where the lion laid down with the lamb, literally, where they were friends. And never harmed each other, and they lived off of, I guess, air and chi, like in the sun, like we can. So, I mean, it's a balance right now, but I think that we're going back in that way too, where the animals will lay down with the lamb again. Like, the lion will lay down with the lamb, and they will. Then, yeah, it's that's something I feel quite strong about. Unless it's the giving into negativity, like watching negative shows just drain spirit. Negative shows can drain spirit, for some people though, because I was fascinated by people like negative shows, because I just can't. I can't watch certain things. I'm too sensitive. And I found out that the reason people watch it sometimes is they get a therapy by numbing themselves. You know, particularly just sometimes it's nice to see people more messed up than you, they said. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And so it's like a therapy for them. So then a negative show becomes a positive to them. But again, in doses, because overdoing it is never good either, right? Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is a lobotomy. Water is a great example of quantum math, where 2 + 2 equals 2 equals 1. 2 drops of water added of 2 to 2 others. How many drops of water do you have? But then the need to measure the volume comes in, but that math. Yeah, that's right. I also look at it like 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It equals 3. because 1 plus 1 always creates something together that turns into a third, like a man and a woman coming together make a child, or one person and another person coming together make a project, right? So all kinds of things. 2 plus 2. Oh, that's what you meant. I thought that's what you meant. It's okay. But yeah, it's 2 plus 2, you're saying, equals 1. 2 drops of water, and then they merge into 1. That's also very likely as well. Like, I think that's true math. I just think our math has been hijacked as well. All typical ailments on the island here can be healed with dandelion. Yeah, dandelion's amazing. I had dandelion tea, dandelion juice. You can eat the flowers. You know, there's so many things. It's just, I was watching all these dandelion tincture videos not too long ago, and I'm still fascinated with dandelions. Yeah, you can have dandelion in smoothies. I make smoothies all the time. Every day I have to do a fruit smoothie and a vegetable smoothie from the garden. I juice potatoes, I juice turnips and kohlrabi and yams and parsnip and things you wouldn't think to juice, and they're actually pretty damn good. As an avid sun gazer, I usually eat 1 meal per day. Only at sunset and sunrise do I look at the sun, safe hours. Yeah, I'm quite the sun gazer too. I wrote several poems about my conversations with the sun from those times. I still do it because I love the sun. I'm not at war with the sun. I don't see the sun as an enemy. The Anastasia voice read was transformational listening in full. Well, thank you. The wall color behind you is amazingly calm. Nice to see. Yes, this is my bedroom, and I wanted a green. Green's my favorite color, so I chose, it's like a green apple. And with the light right now, it looks nice, but over there, it looks like kind of a 70s green, maybe slight baby poo green. It depends how the light hits it. And then I'm also a big fan of Muriel's, particularly when I do videos. So, of course, it's green. I don't know if I want to show you the rest of my room because it's messy. But not too bad. But, sort of. I mean, I showed you my garden. It was messy, so give you an idea. And there's like some posters on the wall and other Muriel's and stuff. Oh, and there's also this. This green dresser my friend made for me, and I put like ivy all over it and stuff like that. That's my room. Hey, the babies! Okay, let's see. Aw, you sound the same, and aw. Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, you guys all told me you can see the messages, but I'm going to just read this out loud because I'm touched. Aw, Jessica, you sound the same and look so beautiful. Now you're young still. Don't beat yourself up. I'm getting older. I'm not that young, but I have, I guess, good genes where I'm aging well. So, thank you. Again, see, we don't see ourselves the way others see us. And that's also interesting because there's this idea of who we think we are, how others see us, how we want to be seen, who we think we are, you know, what we actually are, and all these aspects of ourselves are like creating all this confusion and misunderstanding within people, and then we're always freaking out by what we think, expectations versus reality, and the light's getting dim and creepy. My light died, that's why I have only one left, so I have to kind of change the bulbs and put two to make it a bit brighter, so I'm not doing these dark videos. Your light is bright. I hope you have a good night. Sleep tight. Aw, thank you, Free Spirit. Doesn't look really messy. Just like Forest, there's order in the disorder. That's right. I'm an organized mess. I know where everything is in my mess. But I haven't unpacked from the trip, basically. So that's also why there's stuff everywhere in my dresser. And, yeah. It's getting late, so everybody's heading out soon, so we will... Let's see, just read a few more of these messages here. I have more than memories of past lives. I recollect many very different lives, similar to a drop of water having memories, except I am energy and have existed everywhere at the same time. Yes. So it's not a memory. Like I look at it also as like just movies that we watched, that we identify also so much with the character, right? Or VR games, and how many lives do you have in the games? You die and then you just go again and make a different decision and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of merit to that. And that's how it's very likely many people claim to be like Cleopatra in a past life. Well, can they all be Cleopatra? Sure, they can all have watched that movie and all have their own version and interpretation of it in that time and what they think happened, just like we have many different stories and versions of Cleopatra, right? So it's so non-linear, it's fantastic. I'm so glad that it's not just strict linear. Life is just truth is stranger than fiction, and it just gets me so excited. There are no limits, just beliefs. And yeah, I have that constantly, this kind of realization that I'm existing all the time. And I remember one time I had this really cool astral travel experience where I left my body, and there was one part of me that was watching my body the whole time, and there was another part that was watching my spirit watch my body, and then another spirit that was watching that spirit watch that body, and then there was this other one that was watching the world I was in, and then another watching the other realm that was paralleling that way. It was just wild. It was just like, and suddenly I was the wall, and I was the water, and the H drop, and like, this is what the Cabal is so terrified of. Like, they even shared that in their covenant, that they must never realize that they are one, because if they do, they will know what we've done to them, and there's nowhere we will be able to run. That, that they have no power over us, basically. They're just waiting for us. They're terrified for us to realize our power, and that they have no power over us. And so that's also why I just don't let fear make me into its bitch, and I try to remind people and empower people as much as I can about these things. Oh, you also have an apple green room? Green apple room? I also love apples too, so yeah. And apples come from Kazakhstan, actually, only place in the world. And every apple is completely different from the next, unless you take that apple, that one, and you bring it over and recreate it. Otherwise, they just keep getting all these different apples, like mushrooms, constantly, like so many different mushrooms that scientists can't keep up with it, right? And so, now that you guys know me pretty well, but you hear me talk about like this, people are always like, what drugs is she on? I'm not on any. I'm just naturally this way. Yes. Yeah, my light's getting darker and creepier because I'm the light is going down. It's sunsetting here, and my little light is dimming, and working hard to brighten me as I'm going more and more in the shade and shadow. That's an insane dream in a good way. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I tend to dream. What's my opinion of Roddy Ricch? Who is Roddy Ricch? And then I will tell you my opinion. But I don't think I've heard of them. Babies. You the Evering. You're a big sucker, you mama's boy. I'm waiting for you to tell me because, yeah. I have no flow in this moment of things in particular I want to talk about. So it's just going to be this awkward silence. Which is fine. I could look it up, but we're here right now. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you all for you being you. That's all we can do. Like, we be ourselves because everybody else is taken. You never see a bee trying to spin a web or a spider trying to make honey. What do you think, Every? You think Everest? You sweetheart? Appalachia. Appalachia's a munchkin. She's super tiny. Yeah, I think it's time to check out, but if time sports production I still am curious to hear what your thoughts on who Roddy Rich is, to tell me. What have I been doing with myself these days? Well, all kinds of things. Trying to enjoy the sun, trying to swim as much as I can, be in water as much as I can, helping my mom with the garden, road trips. I just went to Calgary and back and got all kinds of adventures when my car died. I don't know. I live very much one day at a time right now. I'm preparing myself to work because I got a job and I'm starting at on July 5th. And I'm grateful, of course, to be working because it's been several months since I've been out of work in the film industry, thanks to the writer strikes and AI and all that stuff, replacing our jobs and Bill C-11 and all these things. But yeah, it's the very beginning of summer. And so I'm like, I'm going to be working during summer, but it's a good thing, so it's fine. And yeah, it doesn't really need to worry about writer's strike, this particular job. It is technically still the film industry, but actually for video games somehow. Somehow I got a job for a video game. I can't reveal it, the name, because I signed an NDA, but it is a fighting game. That's all I can say. Yeah, so that, and I don't know, visiting friends, taekwondo, kickboxing, Krav Maga, enjoying my fur babies, exploring, I don't know, all kinds of things. Writing, posting, uplifting, whatever comes to my mind to do. I don't have a set thing I do. I'm pretty spontaneous. Yeah. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And again, thank you all for being you, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your support and upliftment and patience with me and pushing the times of the live, saying I'm going to go live this week and then I push it to next week and then I go live. So keeping up with me and just being there for me. Take care, everybody, and until next time. Bye.